Okay, good morning everybody. We're really happy to be presenting Fender Flagship Tokyo. As you all may know, Fender is an iconic electric guitar manufacturer, and we were delighted to build their flagship store in Tokyo. It's located here in Omotesando and Harajuku. Top left, Astrid's going to be my pointer, is Meiji Shrine. And we have Kenzo Tang's Olympic Stadium, built in 1964, just below Meiji Shrine. The project is located in, as I say, central Tokyo on the Champs-Élysées of Tokyo. It's called Omotesando, that's the green line. And then the red line is Meiji-dori, and that's in Harajuku. And it's really the fashion mecca of Japan, if not the world. So Fender is located on that crossroads, the crossroads of sort of luxury and creativity. So it's a really great location. It's in this building, built 15 years ago. It's on the lower 3 floors, which H&M used to be in until COVID, when they moved out and Fender moved in. It's a really great building. It's a big glass box. It's a big glass showcase. And in the center, there was a lift shaft, which we sort of split the building into 2, and we put a large LED screen there, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a moment. Fender hasn't had a retail store or that it owned itself. They've been making guitars for 77 years and no retail set of stores. So this is their first one. And the reason it's in Japan is they've had a really long relationship with Japan, and they have manufacturing in Nagano in Japan as well as in the US. So this was quite a great location. They have very strong sales in Asia, so this seemed to be the perfect place. If you Google guitar stores, this is what you get, the top hits, the top images, you know. And they're just really crammed with guitars that you don't understand the categories. They're man caves, they're really intimidating. And this was really something that we wanted to move away for, especially because Fender, the Fender players, 50% are girls and women. It's really an extension of themselves. It's part of like a fashion accessory. And so we wanted to make the store much more lighter, brighter, open, and inviting. And this is the entrance from one of the 2 entrance doors on the ground floor. And we've used the Fender curves, the Stratocaster curves, for the bench and for the lighting element, which draw you into the store. As I say, light, bright, open. And we want people that are not really even interested in guitars to enter in and be drawn into the store to see what's on offer. We're using graphics to carefully categorize each of the different types of guitars so it becomes easy to understand. And we've developed this wall-based system with these graphic elements which are all standardized throughout the store. They're magnetic, they can be swapped out within a few minutes. And the horizontal lines are these rails where we can put the guitar supports, or the guitar supports there. And these displays can be changed really easily. And this is very important, that there's always change within the store. There's always something new. And these are changed out weekly, if not daily at some point. And in the foreground, you can see our plectrum tables, our pick tables. They go out throughout the store. The one in the forefront in cowhide is a transaction table. So if you're thinking about buying a guitar and they get it out of the case, they don't want it to scratch the lacquer, the table to scratch the lacquer. So it's a very soft and rock and roll type table. So that's the ground floor, and as you can see, there are 2 entrances either side of that elevator core with these Stratocaster curves which draw you into the back of the store. And you've got the this main staircase that runs all the way up through the store. And that's really our stairway to heaven. And that's where we have all of the Fender artists, over 300 Fender artists being shown here. So if you're into music, and which everybody's into music, it's not triggering. Can you trigger the video? Thank you. Everybody's into music, so you can come into the store and find your favorite musician, and if they're a Fender artist, they'll be on the wall. And as you come up the staircase onto the 2nd floor, you enter here into the artist gallery. So we have these artist guitars on display. So if someone's visiting Japan to play, touring in Japan, we know ahead of time we can get one of their guitars if they're a Fender artist and display their guitars. There's a big video screen there too, so there's always performances being played. And on the left-hand side, we have the made in Japan guitars and made in the USA on the right-hand side. This is the 2nd floor plan. So we've got the staircase again in the center, the artist gallery, and then these two seating areas, which are right at the front of the store and overlook Harajuku, and it's almost like a stage. So you can sit there and play, or stand there and play in front of your Tokyo audience. And you can see here the graphics are really important to bring all sorts of different senses into the space. It's obviously a music store, and we were very careful with all the acoustics. You can see in the ceiling the acoustic treatment there. Also these sound-absorbing lamps that we designed, and then we're sort of tuning the sound even more with the carpets on the floor. And again, this is very much about experience. Can you trigger the video, please? It's very much about experience and emotion. And on Saturdays, well-known guitarists come in and play kind of secretly. They have to have a calendar, but the public don't know who's going to come and play. So people come in and sing and play with Ken here from L'Arc-en-Ciel, and that's my son just hanging out and jamming with him. So it's really important to get this sort of live house within the store. And amazing, people can come in and play with some of their heroes, you know, just for a couple of, a few minutes. They come in for an hour to drop in space. And we have an amp room. You can take any guitar and plug it into any amp. And it's a soundproof room because, boy, do they go when they play loud on a twin reverb amp. It's pretty loud in there. And then we move up to the top floor, the third floor, with a central stair in the middle, and we move into the Master Builder Gallery. And here, the Master Builders are very famous within Fender, and you can actually get a bespoke, custom-made guitar. I was talking to someone a little bit earlier here who's waiting 3 years for a Fender guitar, some even more, depending if the guy has made an Eric Clapton guitar or whatever. So this begins to explain about the Master Builder Gallery. And as you move forward, you move forward to the custom shop. This is almost a shrine, it's almost a mecca where people come. This is where we have all our social media shots taken there. And again, it's really showcasing all of the amazing finishes that you can get your guitar made in. When you've decided what color you want your guitar, you go into the custom shop and work here with the Master Builder, with Fender, to sort of tune up and decide which pickups and knobs and everything that you want on your guitar. Then we move just across into the Best of Fender area. And as you can see here, the color palette's getting darker and darker and more intense and focusing on the guitars, compared to the ground floor, which is light and friendly and warm. And then the second floor is gray and kind of more neutral. And here the focus really is on these amazing guitars. Then towards the other side of the main display case there is the VIP room. So when any visiting rock stars are in Tokyo, they can drop in here, chat to Fender, they can play here, and they've just, they can look out across onto the amazing Tokyo life, the nightlife of Tokyo. Then down in the basement, we've got the acoustic area here, and we have a Fender Care area where you can get your guitar tuned or restrung. And this is really a small live house as well, so everything is flexible here. You can move everything around, and you can have live events, you can have lessons here, and you can have these live events on the ground floor and basement floor, and the video screen behind, we can push that up all through the store and out onto the main screen as well, onto the street. So this is really important. This is really important for their social media, so they record things for YouTube here, as well as the live events within the store. And this is where this whole thing about the project becoming emotional, it's really an emotional space. It's somewhere you really want to go and hang out. And of course, the social media is key. That big screen on the outside is key. Here's Bruno Mars in town. He's designed a Stratocaster. That, when I shot it a few weeks ago, it had 2.4 million views. So it's been amazing what this store has done for Fender and its awareness in Japan. And I think we're going to hit another video. Can you trigger the video? So this is on the ground floor as you enter. There's Ken. And this is a bit we missed. This is a retail clothing brand they've just developed. I skipped a slide. And then we're going up the main stair here, Stairway to Heaven. And here we are in the Artist Gallery. rock and roll tables. So this is second floor, yeah, made in Japan, made in America. But really clear, easy to understand displays, yeah. Amp room. Then down in the acoustic area in the basement, as we were talking about where the live events can happen too. And there's a cafe there too, it's a Vert Cafe. They have their own blend of coffee called In Tune. Then upstairs in the Best of Fender area, really incredible guitars on display. So just at the end, we wanted to say that we really feel this is beyond retail. It's about experience and it's about emotion. Thank you very much.
Hang on. I'm not paid for this, but it was so much fun working on this project that I'm going to say it anyway. Play guitar, play Fender.
Thank you both. It's my turn to ask the first question, but it's probably a bit of a muddle. It's very Japanese. It's very calm, actually. Seeing it the second time, despite all the rock and roll stuff, I'm interested in the restraint. And there's lots of white. There's lots of feeling of suspension. There are few videos on the inside. You only mentioned one, I think, at the top of the stairs. So that's one point that maybe you could respond to. The other one is, it's a really awkward building. Because it's got a lift to the top floors on the street, if I understand
Correct.
well.
Yeah.
So you can't use that lift.
No.
It's sort of out of bounds, so you have to go either side. So you might respond to some of those. And I wonder if the sort of restraint is an attempt to control the awkwardness of the building, because all the walls are at funny angles, and it's kind of supremely difficult. And I get the white squiggle on the ceiling as a unifier and a distraction from kind of awkward walls. But could you say something about this thing of restraint?
Yes, it was in an existing building, and it was these 4 floors, well, 3 floors above ground and 1 underground, were used by H&M for 15 years. And we actually also know the developer. And his big thing was always to have direct access from the road into the higher floors of the building. That's why that lift is placed there. And yes, it creates an awkward situation for the entrance, because people never know, shall I go in left or shall I go in right, or, anyway. Yes, since H&M was the first tenant to go into that building, lots of elements like that staircase were like fixed. It's like it was part of the structure of the whole building. So yes, we had to deal with it. And
but did you try to make it look as though it was more square?
Well, we did calm it down a lot, trust me. Yes, I think restraint is probably
But I think there's a restraint within the design as well. We wanted for the focus to be the guitars and not the store. That was really important from day one.
Yeah.
And there are so many guitars. There's 450 guitars in the store, which incidentally get tuned every morning from 10 o'clock. It opens at 11. At 10:30, all the staff go in and tune all the guitars, because the CEO said, I don't want an out-of-tune guitar. But that restraint to allow the guitars to sing or to play was really important for us.
And I think, it kind of, because guitar stores were so overwhelming until then, I think trying to really make a big difference. Much more relaxed, a bit more like a gallery where everybody can walk in, not just people who want to buy a guitar. I think this was
So you don't want to frighten the horses as soon as they walk
exactly.
in.
Because some people might not want to play guitar or buy a guitar, but they might get inspired by just hanging out and looking around and
So it's a question
being
of
part of it.
slow seduction.
Exactly, yeah.
Can we move on to the next question, Fred?
Yeah, I have two. I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose one. And after I guess introduce those two, then I'll choose which one I want you to answer. But you mentioned emotion. It's about emotion, and the other was the typical guitar store was chaotic, small, non-organized. So maybe I'll let you choose which one you want to answer. But you can either talk through the emotion. So what's the emotion for the non-VIP? Because the space at the top, there's warmth, there's texture. The lower level is a bit more, maybe, I don't want to say sterile, but gallery-like. So
Yeah.
that could be one you answer. Or the other one would be, how did you actually then organize the store based on guitar types, which is something you mentioned earlier. So you choose which one you want to
We'll do
answer.
emotion because I think that's important. And it's throughout the store. And it's emotion and curation. So it's the way the graphics are curated. It's a way that the video is curated. It's the way the guitar for the artist gallery and master builder gallery are created. And these are always changing. So they're always swapping things out. So anybody goes in there anytime can see all of these things. And even in the VIP area at the top, it's open to the public. Everybody can walk through. So there's all sorts of levels of emotion. And then there's this addition of live performances, and the fact that you can play a guitar in the amp room is, it's full of that. And that's why we're saying it's kind of beyond retail in a way. So it's beyond a normal store.
Okay, thank you. It's a very nice project. And I know that always working with a brand and translating their DNA to actual materiality can be a challenge. If you were to remove the guitars out of the equation of the overall design, which do you think are the key elements that really translate Fender to the customer other than the actual product?
That's a good question. For me, they have to be together. I don't think you can separate them. I think we wanted it to feel very much like the cases run all the way through the store, the guitar cases. And that was a really key thing for us, to have this consistency through the store, but change the feeling through the color or the type of stain that we had on the wood. And I think that is almost like a guitar case, and I think that would be the link back to Fender in a way. Yeah.
I think we also developed a new icon for Fender, which are the plectrum-shaped tables and the wild cow covering.
Which they now want to manufacture and sell. So
It's just a little touch, but hey.
thank you.
Ellie?
Actually, this Fender store brings to mind the concept store of Apple. So I'm just wondering, when you designed this, did you have in mind that this can be, because Nigel said it's very Japanese, right? But I think Apple store is very global, very universal. That's why it can be applied everywhere in the world the same way. So when you're designing it, was this the consideration that it can be replicated throughout the world?
Very much so, and I think there was this notion also, just like with Apple, we wanted how computers used to be and how they used to be sold. It actually came up in some of our first presentations in the competition. This was a competition, and that was very much what we said. This is how computers were sold, and this is how Apple sell them. So there was a thought there too.
I think what's more important is how can you change the store like every 3 months, because you don't, the Apple store in a way, and trust me, we got all the Apple gadgets. is boring for me. It's because it's pretty much the same. It stays the same. It's beautifully clean, no plastic toys. But I think, and that's where the graphics come in. That's where we intentionally thought, how can we change the visual merchandising display in a big way so as to reflect the now, what makes people tick now. And that's where those big graphics come in that are just magnetic sheets that peel off.
So Astrid's right that they get changed about every 3 months, but they're not being changed all at the same time. And this notion of change, and when people are coming to town, if a big band is coming to town, just like Bruno Mars, we can do that instantly. So the shop is alive, and it's a reflection of the music scene as it sort of happens.
You know, talking about this change, I have another question that I was thinking about. Because you with this constant, or rather a strategy that you might want to change it all the time. I was looking at the staircase where all the photos are, and I can see that in the rest of the shop there's all this a little bit of fun touches, something that's a little bit different, but that part to me is a little bit more conventional. So were there at any point of time a consideration of using like digital screens or something? Is it a budget constraint that you decided to just print photos and just lay the walls?
No, I think that we were looking for a calm, we're looking for some excitement in that stair. I should add that 100% of the people that come to the store go up one floor, at least one floor, yeah, which is kind of amazing. But the staircase was so crazy anyway. The last thing we wanted to do, and there was a staircase that was existing, and the walls are not straight either. It seemed a natural thing to do.
I think it's sometimes nice just to look at a still photograph. There are 4 big LED screens in the store and one very big one on the outside. So I don't think there was a restraint in having big LED screens. But we're living now in a world of moving images everywhere. And it's like this subliminal kind of bombarding of information that sometimes is just, very relaxing to just look at the still photograph. And so it's a balance.
I just wanted to add one point about you were saying about the change within the store, and I think that's why the guitar cases that run out throughout the store are very calm and straightforward, and that allows us to have the change, so that you've got this balance between a rigidity of the interior and then the flexibility and the excitement of the change in all the graphics and all the live events.
Thank you both.
Thank you very much.
It's a wonderful project.
Thank you very much.
Well done.